I was really nervous about performing before coming to college. Just like, I don't know if you'd find this interesting, but I truly thought that I would like never be able to do music in any real way as far as performing it, because like up until college and a little bit into college, like I was so nervous about performing that I would basically like have borderline panic attacks like before any gig that I would do.
So this was despite your previous experience, with the rock camp and whatnot. You still just felt like college would be a different level.
I think I felt like boxed in high school maybe in terms of like expressing myself, but it was just like in general, like I don't know, like even just when I was with my band, like doing a gig at any given place, like anything, I just would like really be so nervous, and I think what happened is I think I was like pretty comfortable when I was a kid performing because I did ballet and like the camps and like the music camps and stuff and like piano recitals and stuff. So but then I think something happened when I went through puberty, I think, and I just kind of like lost all that confidence for reasons I like can't place. But
I don't think you're alone in that.
Yeah,
I think that's a story as old as time.
Yeah, but, exactly. Yeah. But then I mean, I'm just glad it like came back, the confidence, because like this is like so. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I don't care. I would like drink like a lot before like the gigs I would do.
Again,
year.
Story as old as time.
Yeah, and I was getting pretty sauced. Because I was so nervous, and yeah, with time it got better. By the time the pandemic happened, I was getting pretty comfortable and not nervous, which is a shame because I think I'm gonna have to like do that work again. But
how do you build up to that? Like, was it just from doing it? You just put yourself out there?
Yeah, it was literally just doing it. I think
yeah.
Like honestly, not more complicated than that. Just like over time, by the time I'd done a certain number of shows, I just noticed that I viscerally felt less of a desire to drink before. And I just like felt more like okay, and also I think like I mean like people like supporting me and like my friends supporting me and like hearing positive feedback from people was not something I expected. And when I got it, I was like, it kind of gave me like a little bit more of a mental push to be like, all right, like you don't have to think that you're so terrible, like it's, or like I don't know, it helped with the nerves too, I guess, but it was mostly just doing it.
Definitely.
Bluegrass too helped.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, performing in front of you guys all the time.
Yeah, that's a good situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's for a lot of the people in there, it's not stuff that we really have that much. Like what we do in that class is that is the sum total of our experience with that particular type of music, and so it's really we're in it with each other from start to finish. For a lot of us.
That's not true for you though, is it? Like
I would say it's more true than not, because going into first year I had no like real bluegrass experience.
No
that
way.
I would
Are you serious?
No. I mean, I had family that was always into it really deeply, and I could at Thanksgiving and stuff I could always play along and just be there, and but I could never really contribute the way that I could until if you don't know the songs, you don't know the songs. Yeah. And then from then on, it's become more of a part of my kind of my life in general, I suppose. But yeah, on that, it's not the easiest thing to not know anything and just get the gumption to come and sign up and join the class as you did.
Yeah.
And obviously eventually be an integral part of the band. So how was that experience for you, and how did it come about? And just in general, out of curiosity, if there's anything else that you feel like would maybe surprise some of the people listening as far as music that you really have developed an appreciation for over time, please let us know.
That's the case. I mean, I had like minimal exposure to bluegrass before that class. I'd maybe seen like a bluegrass show like once live when I was in middle school. My dad took us to one, me and my brother, which was, it just like happened to be a thing. I don't think he was like trying to like, I don't know, like inspire me, but that was like a cool show. I do remember that. I actually wrote my college essay for UVA about that. Like they're like, what's musical or like creative something that inspired you? And I was like, that. So actually that was pretty cool. But I was pretty nervous when I joined the class. Like I was pretty nervous, and
it's harder to drink a lot before the class, take the edge off. But
I stopped short of that, but I was nervous. But I think I knew that I wanted to involve myself with music a little more in a more structured way, like through the music department, or at least explore
sure.
what was there. Because I was so cynical about like the music scene and stuff at UVA before I came, and I think I was like, well, I can't like knock it till I try it, you know. So I took drum lessons too, actually, with the professor in the music department, which was really fun. He's really awesome. I just like haven't done, you know, either since it's.
Would it happen to be Robert Jospe?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, do you know him?
The GOAT, yeah.
He
What a
is-
legend.
Yeah, he's awesome. I really miss him.
Everyone should take Learn to Groove if you are listening to this and go to UVA and have some extra money to spend on a hand drum. That'll be yours afterwards.
That's correct. Like
Yeah.
$100. Yeah, that's correct. Well, I'm glad you know how great he is. So it's like fun because I feel like he feels like my little like secret of like a gem in the music department. But I always get so excited when other people know him.
Sure,
Because it's
yeah.
just like fun to But
Speaking of gems in the music department, so now we're on. So Richard Will
Mhm.
comes into the picture, and you're nervous at first, and what kind of develops from there on?
you're
feel
like get to the point.
No, sorry, I don't mean to like. If
No, I'm
if there's more detail you want to throw in before that, then
I think. I mean, I remember getting comfortable pretty fast. I think. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's been like great too. I think he definitely. Like I don't know. He definitely. I mean, he and the way he runs the class and like just the class itself totally got me into bluegrass in a way that I'd never been into it before. And now like I listen to it in my free time, which is not something I could say before the class. And
any particular artists you'd like to name drop? This will
well,
be good to hear.
I like "Love of the Mountains" by Larry Sparks. I also what?
I don't know that one. So
Oh well, you played it.
did I?
Yeah, you played
Oh.
it. Maybe you just forget.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. But also, I remember like one of the first songs we ever did was is it "Sweetheart of Mine"? Can't you call it? Bill Monroe.
Can't you hear me calling? That's
yeah,
right.
that one's good. I remember we also did the Carter family. Right? That's the name of them, right?
Yeah, that
Sounds
was.
super educated. Yeah, those are like the three main ones that I've really enjoyed doing. But it was also just nice to meet like other musicians, and I really like the vibe of that class. Like I like how it does feel pretty relaxed compared to like UVA culturally otherwise, in my opinion. Not to sound like overly cynical, but I do think that the environment in that class was like noticeably relaxed in terms of like energy compared to other student like groups.
Yeah, for sure,
classes.
and especially since there's so little emphasis placed on stuff that there is in other classes, like the music theory or the, theory. It really is performance based, which I think was definitely attractive to me because it's like, it's very results oriented, which is nice.
It's not, I mean, it was the best part of my week, like every week when I was doing it, which
Mm.
sounds really cheesy, but it's true. Like I would feel
Yeah.
like it was. I think I've said this to like a bunch of people. Like I would call my dad after, like going to bluegrass class and be like, "Dad, I feel like I just had therapy." Like it felt like so
Oh, yeah.
borderline spiritual. Like, and I think that's what I got the most out of the class was like, I don't know, like I think I have taken from bluegrass that like things that are simple can be really moving. Like I think that's actually one of the main things that like still applies to my music now from doing that class is that I'm like, wow, like you don't need the most complicated lyrics ever, or you don't need the most complicated chord structures ever. You can reuse these chord structures in different ways and make something like really beautiful depending on the pacing and like the content and everything. And I remember feeling really moved by the Larry Sparks song about like the love of the mountains, and it felt like a real like cultural study in a lot of ways. Like if you're paying attention to the lyrics of a lot of these songs, like it is like you're taking a class on like what bluegrass is and like what the culture behind it is too. I guess you could easily like ignore paying attention to that part, but like sometimes like the lyrics would really like move me. But and then also I think like physically something I got from that class was it made me have a lot better what do you call it like it was good ear training.
Oh, for sure.
Like being
Yeah.
able to like now when I hear certain chord progressions, I'm like, oh, I know what that is, and I didn't know before doing that class, and it made me get good at just like coming into that class, I was like, yeah, I know how to play a G and a C chord, like I know how to do this, and but then like doing it like fast and stuff is like a different thing. And so I think that class really improved my guitar playing, or at least made me aware from watching people like you and like other people in the class, like how much farther I have to go, and that's like I should practice. And like no, seriously, like your guitar playing is like insane.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Insane in a good way, or
Insane and very good.
I appreciate that, and that I would have a lot of like similar things to say about that particular class for sure. It has a very therapeutic aspect, and as far as like you were alluding to, it's great to have that kind of communal sense of some kind of musical endeavor that you're all working on, and it's really cool to think about how for a lot of people that same experience is had like within their own family, which is something I hadn't really appreciated before taking the class. It's like, man, for a lot of kids, this is the first time they've ever doing this, but me, this is like being around with my uncles, every year. And maybe I should, learn a thing or two to come back to next Thanksgiving and maybe impress them with. Not that they ever really impressed me, but so that's awesome, and it's good to hear that it's perhaps permeated into the shoegaze and pop punk realm of your influences.
It has, yeah.
So yeah, well, the sun is behind a nice sized cloud right now, but it has gotten pretty toasty out since we've started, and
a little toasty.
Yeah, I mean, I just looking at Nate in jeans makes me hot myself, and I'm like, I wouldn't want to put anyone else through anything worse than what I'm going through right now, which is a decent amount of sweat. But that said, since that shot is not something to be worried about anymore, it's would seem to be an opportune time for some closing remarks. If you guys have anything that you'd like to add before we sign off, anything that you guys are working on that you want the people listening to be aware of?
Do you have any closing remarks, Nate?
I don't know. I mean,
no, it's okay. No, I thank you for like having us. This has been really fun.
Of course.
It's like an interesting fusion of real life and also a podcast. But no, yeah, I'm just like, I think we're both like flattered that you wanted to bring us on, and like this was like a nice foray into real life conversations, and
yeah.
Hope we didn't hope I didn't talk too much.
Not at all. It was a pleasure through and through.
I hate that. I don't deserve that. Nate's always so nice to me. I did this in the other interview too, where I like rambled a bunch, and you just always thank you for being so nice about how much I ramble. I don't deserve it, but thank you.
I mean, I don't know. It's good for me because I don't talk too much. Like, I feel like I am just not as much of a talker. I'm more of a listener, so it works out good that way.
Yeah, we're a perfect dynamic duo. I like the way that sounds. I'm a listener. Yeah, but anyway, thanks. Thanks.
Hope we can do it again sometime.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure with Caroline Hullman and Nate Cantu, both of Marty, the band.
Yes.
And this has been the Cougar Cast, episode 2, signing off. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.